Well, hello there, all you peeps and peepdettes and whatnot out there. We are going to talk about debloating Windows. I just typed in debloat Windows in Microsoft Bing because we are now Binging, we are not Googling. We're going to talk about debloating. And you can see here there is not a lack of things to debloat Windows with. There's a lot of articles. Even the AI will probably help you debloat Windows and what have you not. I'm not going to tell you how to do it or show you how to do it because 9 out of 10 people watching this video should not be doing it. You may be angry right now, you may be yelling at me, but Windows takes resources and all of these arguments that you put out there. First of all, I will say this, we live in 2023. If you have bought a computer within the last 5 to 10 years, let's just say 5 to 8 years, or since 2015, your computer should be running Windows 11. Okay, the benefits you get from debloating is more or less mostly for us nerds. If you're just sitting there and doing your Windows, your Pornhub browsing, your Facebooking, your Instagramming, you were stalking all the Twitch streamers and YouTube girl, e-girls, b-girls, or what they're calling. You're going nuts with like throwing your hard-earned money at all of those girls. You don't really need debloating. Debloating is really useful for someone, let's say, you're rendering a shit ton of videos. You're doing a lot of scientific calculations. You're doing a lot of machine learning AI. You're doing a lot of programming. You're doing a lot of really high taxing workloads for your CPU. So if you are doing something where your CPU is running 100%, 90% of the time you're using it, we could have a debate about debloating. But what I want you to do right now is open up Task Manager. Have that running somewhere. If you have 2 screens, put it up on your second screen. I always have mine up on a second screen on the top so I can see what all my resources are doing. And then for a week, look at your CPU usage. And your RAM, most people don't understand Windows and RAM, so don't think about RAM, okay? If you have 8 gigs of RAM, you are golden. If you have 16 gigs of RAM, you are like, mwah. You have 32 gigs of RAM, you can go nuts, okay? Look at your processor and see how much do you use of it. Do that for a week. And if you like once in a while hits 100%, debloating will not help you that much. If you like, let's say 6 out of 7 days at 100% CPU usage or 90% CPU usage for hours and hours and hours, debloating may help you a tiny bit. But for most people, even gamers, they don't need to get more headroom out of Windows because when you are gaming, what is the most intensive thing about gaming? Most games, that is graphics. What is handling the graphic workload? Your graphic card. I see too many gamers out there, in quote, gamers be like, oh, my game runs as sucking on Windows and I should be gaming under Linux because it's using less CPU resources. If your game runs bad on your computer, it's 9 out of 10 times because you have a shitty ass graphic card. I'm sorry to say it. So just alone from that mentality or that thinking about what you actually are utilizing on your computer, debloating is basically useless for most people. Unless, like I said, you're running your CPU at 100%, 90% of the time, while you're watching your favorite e-girl throwing her titties around. So now you have that in mind. I want to debloat anyway. I don't give a fuck what this idiot is telling me. I want to debloat. I want to sit at, instead of 4% utilizations on average, I want to go down to 3% utilization on average. Or 2%. That's cool. Go nuts. Run all the scripts in the world. Go into, GitHub or BitHub or watch all the videos, download everything and debloat it. You just have to remember one thing. You don't know what those scripts are doing. Do you read the scripts? Do you understand what the scripts are doing? Do you go into GitHub here and, find it? I don't know if you can find the script. This is debloating tool. Do you go in here and go into like the source packets here and you go in and read, let's say, scripts. This is a backup. This is a privacy optimize. Do you know what all of this means? Do you know what it does? Because if you don't use it. Don't run away. Because you don't know if this is disabling something that you actually need for either a tool, for work, or for your games. It could be disabling some game telemetry stuff that the games actually need. Do you read all of these things? We have one here called task scheduling. task scheduling. We are disabling a schedule task from Windows. You can actually do that in the task manager also, by the way, which I will come back to. Do you understand all of this? If not, don't run them. And here's another thing. You may say, oh my god, my Windows one's so amazing after debloated. That's good. We don't know the long-term effect of it. If you run a debloating script, you don't know how that will impact your system in 6 months, a year, 2 years. You don't. For gaining 2 or 3 or 4 or 5% extra CPU headroom. Another thing here is that a lot of issues, when people come to me and they're like, oh, Windows sucks ass and blah, I get all of these things. And I'm like, that's cool. What are you doing with your system? Oh, I run this debloating script. Try and run your system without the debloating script. And a lot of times, actually most of the times, when I talk to nerds that have issues with Windows, you know what the issue is? That they are running stuff like this up here that they don't know what is. They have debloated out of their ass. They are sitting in Reddit and go fucking bonkers with techno music blaring out of their assholes, and they're disabling, enabling, changing values. They have no idea what they're doing. Like, it's running really fast now, but for some reason when I'm playing Battlefield, I'm getting 10 frames less per second. Or, oh my god, now that if I am doing photoshopping, it's massively slow. Yeah, you probably change some priorities around in some processes and scheduling that you should not have been messing with. Because Windows out of the bat is set up to be not great at one thing, but good at everything. Just like Linux or Mac OS, they are not set up to be a massively amazing good gaming system. That's something you can tune them to. But then you are taking something away from other places. A really good example is the alternative kernels for Linux. A lot of people like to use these Zen kernels and all these kind of things. And then they're like, oh my god, my read-write speed has gone way down, or my I/O speed has gone down. Yeah, when you take away something, or adding something to one part of your system, you're taking away from another part. That's something you always have to remember. That is what they are doing here. You may be gaming like a pro right now, but then you're going into Office and it's running like dog shit because you have changed out some scheduling, you've changed out some values, you changed out some priorities. So unless you know exactly what they're doing and you're like, okay, I'm okay with losing, let's say, word processing efficiency or mathematic efficiency on my CPU. I'm okay with losing Windows search. You know, a lot of people, they turn off indexing and all that stuff. So if they are going to search for something on their computer, it takes fucking long time. But if you never search on your computer, you rarely use the search function to search for files on your computer, yeah, you can turn off indexing and stuff like that. But you need to know what you're doing. Because like I said, what you do for one thing may impact another thing. That's the beauty with computers and software, is that when you fiddle with something here, so if you're fine-tuning her nipples, her knees may get, turn out and go away and break and she's on the floor. Because your kneecaps just ran away from her body because you fine-tuned those little nipples too much. But people think that if I just run this script, I debloat Windows, everything would work well. No, Microsoft and the Windows developers have fine-tuned Windows to work the best the way it comes out of the factory. The same with a car. When you get a car, it's built to work the best and the longest when it comes out from the factory. If you start to tune it, mess with the timing, put a better, more powerful injection system into it and stuff like that, you may limit the lifespan. You may limit the reliability. A little bit like overclocking your CPU. The CPUs we buy, they are built to be working this way, the most stable, for the longest lifespan. The second we go in and start to fiddle with them, we could potentially lower that lifespan. We could potentially lower the stability. What they are doing, software coders, hardware builders, car manufacturers, they are like, how can we get this thing to work the best for the longest time? That's what they build it for. That's what you are messing with here. And you may gain some performance benefits, but then you may lose in some other aspects. And you may notice that 6 months down the line, oh, I'm starting a new job, I'm starting at university, I'm starting doing all these kind of crazy things. Why is my system so shit at these tasks that I never used to be doing before? It's probably because you ran a debloating script that took some of those things away that you now need to use to benefit your Counter-Strike, performances, or your Pornhub performances. I have something in my eye, so if you see me crying, that's why. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. Maybe I'm developing allergies, I don't know. So you get what I'm saying here. And for most people, debloating Windows makes no sense. Like I said, most people don't run their system at 100% all the time. And most people, they don't think long term. They are like, what if my computing needs in a year is not what it is today? And then I do all of these tweaking, all this fucking shit, and what I want to do in 6 months or a year, I can't do as good as everyone else because I fucked around with this shit. I highly recommend nobody to use debloating script unless you are a Windows professional, or at least understand 100,000% the tool you're using. You know exactly what this line is doing. You know exactly what this line is doing. You know exactly what this is doing. That's a path. What this is doing. You know exactly what they are doing. Go nuts. But again, 9 out of 10 computer users have no clue about this. No clue. So don't use this shit. This is like the branding statement I give everyone. Don't use a debloating script. And then you say like, what can I then do? I don't want to see all of these like extra things. So the safest or the most debloating you should be doing is uninstalling programs that comes with Windows you don't like. Just uninstall them. And if for some fucking weird reason Windows installed it again after an update, it's not that fucking difficult to uninstall it again. Is it irritating? Yes. Is it difficult? No. How long does it take? Not fucking long. Stop bitching, start working, okay? It's like bitching over that you get 1 lettuce less or 1 french fry less in your fucking bag of french fries, okay? It's bitching for the sake of bitching. Yes, it's irritating, but fuck it, just uninstall it, okay? I see people bitch way more than they actually do shit. It drives me bonkers. Okay. You uninstall all the programs. You can, to some degree, if you know kind of what you're doing, go into your task manager and disabling services in there. But be careful. A good one, if you don't use anything that has to do with Xbox, like Xbox Game Pass and all that fucking shit, and you don't want the overlay from Xbox where you can see all your statistic like frame rates and stuff like that, yeah, you can go in and disable Xbox and stuff like that. But that's to the degree I would go and fiddle with things. I don't debloat my Windows. I've not debloated Windows since Windows 7. And I have almost no issues with running Windows whatsoever. I get on average 1 blue screen a year. On average. And my computer runs 24/7. It's rendering videos like hell. I'm doing massive amount of coding on it. Compiling and shit like that. I'm gaming like a motherfucker on it. It's really getting used. And I get on average 1 blue screen of death a year, on average, since Windows 7, because I don't fuck with it. It don't matter how much headroom you have on your CPU if you're not using your CPU to 100%. A really good analogy here is that, let's say you're running 100 meters, and you're just jogging along, and you're like, yeah, just taking it easy. You know, you're talking with your friends while you're jogging a little bit along. And then I come flaming out at, use this pre-workout, 10% extra performance. And you're drinking that pre-workout because you want to jog along, have a little bit of easy time, 10% better. You want to be 10% faster. It will not help you one fucking bit because you are not utilizing all your power. You're still just jogging along, talking with your friends. And then you may go a little bit faster and then frame the pre-workout. But in reality, you just jogged a little bit faster. Versus if you're running 100 meters to the fucking, you're puking your shit out, you're shitting yourself, you're puking, you're passing out. You cannot do anything more after those 100 meters. And I again jump out in your face, pre-workout, 10% extra performance, get it now. Now it's going to help you. So for all of you idiots out there that debloat Windows because they, oh my god, I'm using 60% of my computing power, you won't benefit from it. I'm sorry to say it. It will not help you do things better. It's a placebo. So yeah, you may get a little bit of extra frames per second. Yes, you may get a little bit of rewrite performance. You may be able to overclock your PC like 50 megahertz more. But all of that is for the potential issues it can give you and the potential instability it can give you. It's meaningless. Windows is like any other operating system. If you don't know what you're doing, you can fuck it up really easy. And when you are fucking it up, you blame Windows for you fucking it up. This is another pet peeve of mine. Oh, I run this fucking script here and then now this don't work. Oh, Windows is a soggy platform. No, you fucked it up. You are the issue here. And I will right now get a lot of people going down in the comment section and tell me how wrong I am and blah, 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 blah. And I should shut my mouth because they know better. If debloating scripts was really this good, every fucking office in the world would be using a debloating script from fucking GitHub. Okay? They will. If debloating was this fucking amazing, everyone would be using it. In places where uptime, stability, predictability is severely important. They don't. Yes, they do tweak their systems, but not in the way you think they do. They know what services they can take away. They know exactly what things they can uninstall and stuff like that. They know what they're doing. You don't. And again, this is going to be really controversial. When you talk to a nerd and a geek, most of them don't know what the fuck they're doing. They just know more than the average person. But they really don't know much more than the average person. This whole thing about computer users is this like highly intelligent fucking human being. I've seen more nerds and geeks fucking up their systems than grandmas and grandpas and shit like that. Yeah, they may get more viruses and malwares, but they don't fuck up their systems beside of that. So you give them a good malware protection and antivirus and you're set to go. Who are the ones I talk to the most and helping the most with PC problems? Geeks and nerds. I hope this makes a little bit sense. I needed to rant about this a little bit because I'm getting so fucking tired of all these debloat this and what should I use to debloat and how should I debloat and then, oh, why is my computer not working as it used to be and stuff like that? Because you debloated everything. Here's a newsflash. I debloat Linux every time I install a Linux distribution because for me there's a lot of bloat on almost any Linux distribution. What do I debloat? I uninstall shit I don't need. That's by me debloating Linux. Bloat is just something you don't want, but someone else may want it. So what's bloat for you is a feature for someone else. See you all later. Bye bye.